Hello, this is the Starlink Gen 3 install on Hermiz. Yes, we could have taken the Starlink and just plugged the Cat 6 cable in through an open window and put the dishy somewhere on the ground, in the campground or rest area or whatever. But then I wanted to have a real professional install. So here it is. So this is the finished installed of the Starlink in Hermiz. And so I'll give you a little tour of what goes on here. It's got one more section it can go up, but that's pretty high. I guess that's 10 foot higher than the top of the van. It's plenty high. It actually gets the same in this section, the way it is, the way it's pointing, it gets the same reception when it's down this high. But it can go up to clear trees. If we had to go the other way, it could go another section higher. I took out the cabling from here and I made a separate video of that, and then I installed this piece, which is an RJ45 female, and it goes through, and there's a 10-foot cable that goes on the other side and snakes along this end of the bed. I'll show it to you, and then up to the units. And just when those units are on, you just plug that in. I've got a little hair thing, nice low profile, goes over here. It's 50 foot of cord, so of Cat 6 cable, so there's plenty of cable if we want to let it go onto the ground and do that. The cable winds here. This is the bungee that holds the waste bin when we travel, and it's got that there. Then it goes over here. These both open when this is on. This opens and the other one opens when it's on. So if we're going to be using Starlink for any length of time, we just leave that on. I have a cap that covers this. It's a 3-inch round, and that's a hitch mount that I purchased. So the hitch mount, that's very interesting. So I have a, I guess that's a leveling unit. This thing here, I'll show it to you in a photo. And with a 19, this thing is very, very tight. It's not going anywhere. And it's also locked with one of these into there. I have drilled a hole into the bottom of the pole and this. And so this is a 1/4 inch, and this locks the pole to this unit. And these two adjustments, which come with the flagpole holder, adjust onto this little, and I'll show you a photograph of it, collar in here that goes all the way down. And so this pole is very steady and solid, and so it goes all the way up there. And that's how the Starlink works. Now, if I want to open this, and I can quickly show you that. I'll put a separate little video there, but the dish slides right in here. I had these made, and it just slides very snugly right into the spot. So that's where it rides when we're carrying it. And the router is there. This is the router. And the power unit is just to the left of the router. And that's a 300 watt pure sine inverter that powers it, and it goes directly to the battery, so we don't use the inverter. I also have snaked a 20-foot Cat 6 up along, behind the microwave, behind that cabinet, through the control panel of the slider, across the back, in the front, along the bottom of the back, and then it comes out, and there's a three-port RJ45 Ethernet connector. So 1 to 3. So if we want to run 2 computers and the television directly connected to the router, we can. It's an option. So you could do wireless, or in our case, we have some small internet Ethernet cables. We can hardwire them directly into the router. So here's how I took off the side panel that I exchanged and removed those audio visual 3 connections and cables and installed the Cat 6 cable that ran inside on the other side here of this fixed unit to the router along the bed in the back. I drilled a hole, sanded it, made sure that it fit. That was a lot of custom work, and then got it screwed down and silicone behind it. This is the step that we normally use that's locked in. We keep that locked in. And when we're going to use the Starlink, we remove this step, set it to the side, and then we use this Service First flagpole holder. It has a sheath, and so I drilled a hole in the center. You see how the sheath fits in? It wraps around the Harbor Freight flagpole. I also locked that down with a little 1/4 inch lock. And this is the Harbor Freight flagpole. It has a top that I keep in there to keep the round, and then there's a custom holder that holds the dishy of the Gen 3. It's a beautiful item, and it has space to slip the Cat 6 cable in, and it fits right in there. It's got a bolt. It uses T10. It doesn't use Phillips. So I carry one of those, and I can screw that into the top of the flagpole, and that holds it very, very solid and steady. It's got the perfect angle. I think it's 10%. It's important that we lock down the flagpole holder, and we also lock down the flagpole in the flagpole holder. We use this to steady the flagpole in the 2-inch hitch receiver. It's a 19, just takes a minute or two, and it tightens that up so that it is solid like a rock. The cable fits very snugly into the dishy and through the holder, and this is the cable hanging from the holder, and before I twist the pole to cinch it in, and it just gives you an idea of how nice and neat and install. I have these Velcro cinches that hold the cable at the bottom and then again at the top. So it's 50 feet of cable. I use another one of those Velcros to hold that on top. As soon as you plug it into the side, if the router's live and powered, you're on the satellite internet. It's a very nice, neat setup. The back, the kayak box opens. This is the power unit on the left, the router on the right. Right away we got 99% of the sky, even with a little bit of the trees on the left. And this is the unit down low, so you can see how it looks all together. You can see the unit, how it uses 70 watts when the dishy's hooked up, which is about 5 amp hours, and it used 29 watts when only the power unit is hooked up and the dishy's not hooked up. And we're still getting 98%. And that is the Starlink hookup. So the big question is, how do we store the Starlink, right? So the pole is in here. This is where the pole goes. And this thing crosses on the top. I'll show you. The dish goes right in here. Right like that. Just like that. It's just like that. The let me see if I can get it this way. The mount flagpole holder goes here behind the ladder. And the apparatus, you know, the things, the locks, they're in here. And so is the sheath. And then the piece that fits into the dish goes here on a angular post that I made. This is the stand in case we want to lay it on the ground. It goes right there. And the 50 feet of cable fits on that thing nice and neatly. So it can come off very easily. Just twist it and lift it off. And that's how it's carried. That's the whole thing. So here's where we keep the satellite dish. Right here. Comes right out like that.